This is a 2007 limited release barley wine style ale from Laurelwood Public House and Brewery in Portland, Oregon. This is a 10% Old Reliable, as it's called. This is Zak Rotello's beer. I'm here at Olympic Tavern in Rockford, Illinois. We're going to chat with Zak. We're going to chat with Doug Hurst. Let's see how this baby can hold up.
Drink it or dump it.
For a really long time, the Olympic Tavern has been supporting craft beer and serving some fantastic food. When I launched this series, Zak sent me a picture of a cellar and he said, I'm going to drop all these off on your porch. But instead of doing that, I grabbed Doug Hurst and he and I met in Rockford to open up one of Zak's beers to see if we could drink it or dump it. Your third generation owner of Olympic Tavern?
Almost there.
I'm trying
yeah.
to go back. Like, how
Yeah.
far back does it
Right.
go? To where maybe
yeah.
they had some sites.
Quick history. My grandfather, Anthony Rotello, started the Olympic in 1945 when he came back from the Marines. He was in the Marines. The story goes that he was in Okinawa and he was a cook in the Marines. And he said, if I can make this food over here with the slop that they're sending us in cans, he goes, I can do better when I get back to town. So he came back to Rockford. There was a small neighborhood grocery and tavern on this block called Mutimer's. He purchased it, and the plan was to kind of turn it into a family or sports bar kind of atmosphere place. So Dad took it over. I've been the only one in the family crazy enough to want to do this. I've got younger siblings, and they've all got regular, normal jobs, and I think I'm the only one crazy enough to want to take on a bar and restaurant. Let's see. Yeah, I started taking an interest in beer when I came back from college. Looking at our bar program, I'm like, we've got 8 handles. There's no reason we shouldn't be pouring some better stuff here. So I started, replacing some of those light beer handles with, back then it was Newcastle, Hacker Shore. Imports were like the craft beer back then. So my girlfriend at the time was very interested in moving out of state for a while. I said, this is the one opportunity I'm going to have to do this, go travel around. So we moved to Portland, Oregon. 2006, 2007. Laurelwood Brewing Company was a small brewery out there. They had a chain of 2 or 3 pubs brewing at 2 premises. One was just a satellite pub. They were very well known for their beers. The beers were top-notch, great product.
All right, and I have a question, but I'm going to ask you first, because this is going to take me 20 minutes to open a bottle. I don't like wax-dipped beer bottles.
Me either.
What was it like when back in the Metro days to get a tap handle at a bar like Olympic?
In general, it was not a bad time to start a brewery in 2009 and 10 because a lot of bars, Chicago was short on local breweries. When we started up, there were 3 in the city: Goose Island, Peace Brew Pub, and Rock Bottom Brew Pub, and a few in the suburbs. But they were hurting for selection. And Chicago had a lot of beer, but it was from everywhere else. It was kind of a national dumping ground. Well, where are we going to ship our beer? Chicago, of course. There's a lot of people there. And so we had beer from all over, but not so much local. And so going around, that was not a hard sell to tell people, look, we've got local beer for you. It's fresh, it's tasty. So, yeah, we went from there.
I think when I came back from Portland, the big 5 breweries was pretty much Goose. You had your Rock Bottoms and your Ram, Flossmoor Station maybe.
Flossmoor was around.
Goose, and then you guys, and I think Half Acre came out right around then. That was about it. There was about 5 or 6, 7.
Yeah, Half Acre, Metro.
2 brothers probably around.
Yeah, they were. Half Acre, Metro, and Rev. We all started right about the same time. I kind of look at the 3 of us as the beginning of the new wave.
Okay, what do you think this is going to taste like? 10% barley wine. Let me do some math here. That's it's 18 years old.
18-year-old barley wine.
18 years old. It's 18 years ago when I lived in Portland.
Oh, buddy. I'm not here to do math.
I'm old,
bro. 2007.
Old, bro.
The feeling old only gets worse.
So admittedly, this was hand bottled, hand purged. This was a 5-man.
That might be a good
This was a 4-man team. We had some very basic filling. I helped the guys bottle these. I think my job was putting the swing tops on. I think by the end of the day, my thumb was bleeding because 500 of these things beat your hands up. It was quick purge the bottle, hand it off to the other guy. He'd quick fill with the little wand thing, and then somebody else tap it and dip it in the wax. So hey, to Chad and Dustin and Paul, my brewer buddies from Laurelwood.
Cheers.
It's time to open this guy up. So cheers, amigos.
Cheers.
Still bright, clarity.
Yeah, not murky.
Smells like a barley wine.
It does smell.
I feel like barley wine kind of can hide the oxidation aroma or incorporates it in as part of the overall character of the beer.
What was the one beer that you had that was the light bulb beer that maybe made you say, "Oh, this is different"?
Well, I knew about Guinness and I'd had that in the past, but it was Franziskaner Hefeweizen. When I randomly picked one of those out of a cooler at a bar and they poured it for me, and I drank it and thought, "This is beer?"
What was your gateway beer?
Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, 100%.
Yeah.
It was.
And getting a, what is it, 8, 5, 9, 10% barley wine. I did like most, a lot of time in college, you have a shower beer or two. So it was a Friday night. I was heading out. So I brought 2 beers with me into the shower. I downed one. I downed the other on the way back to the room. I sat my happy ass down. I said, I'm not going anywhere. Like, it tastes, it's bitter, it's strong, and it was full flavor. I'm like, what is it? And that was it. Then it was like, what do you got new at the store? Let me try that.
Okay, so you have 30 taps, and Doug, you're talking about how many breweries there are. How do you choose what you're going to have on tap? How do you choose who you're going to feature? It seems nowadays like you talk about back in your days that I mean that's insane amount of taps.
And it is.
It is in any world, but how these days? How are you choosing? Because you could probably fill these tap handles with breweries within 10 miles.
Totally. Can do. And for a very long time, I mean, people would come up and ask us, like, what do you have on that's local? And I'd point them, I'd be like, well, there's a half acre beer on tap, there's a Metro. They're like, well, what about the local guys? I go, no, there's a half acre, there's a Metro on tap. And my big thing has always been like, local is good, but it's got to be good before it's local. So if Sierra Nevada was making a better pale, I'm going to get the Sierra Nevada pale instead of the guy down the street. To me, quality is more important than locality.
Yeah.
When you can do both, fantastic. That's the best. That's your ideal. You get fresh product. You know the guy who's putting the beer in your keg. You pick some mass market stuff. You pick some stuff that you know people are going to fall back and love. And then you pick some oddball stuff that's like a selfish personal pick and be like, I want to share this with you. I think people go to restaurants and bars for those people to show you something that they like, whether that's an ingredient, whether that's a supplier or somebody that they have a good relationship with. They're coming to you for something new or something unique. If they wanted the same old thing, they can make that at home probably.
And you can really tell bars with beer lineups that have thought and care and consideration put into them versus whatever that was just pushed at them by the distributor that week. And it's kind of willy-nilly and the beers don't blend well. Like you've got to have a mix, variety of beer. In some places you walk into and it's 6 IPAs or something, and it's obvious that they just either don't care or haven't put thought into it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Old Reliable. Is this a drink it or is this a dump it?
Man, I'm not tasting a ton of off stuff
This
on
is
it for being
very
18
much
years
a
old.
drink it.
This is a drink it. I was expecting this to be cardboarded out.
I agree. It's
There's
really good.
there's almost like a brandy-like characteristic to it in some ways.
I will second what Zak's talking about. In Metro, you created such a legendary brand for Chicago, and it's nice to see you moving on to something like S1Ep. So thank you for that. What you're doing here and continue to do with Olympic is just, it's so refreshing. It's so nice to see that craft beer is being elevated and spotlighted.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Amigos. Thanks for opening up some beer. Drink it.
I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah.
What goes through a brewer's mind that makes someone say, I want to bottle this in a 1 liter bottle with a flip top and then wax it? What are they, especially a 10% beer?
I don't know. Don't ask me that question.
Yes, this is good, but I will probably trend towards the beer that's not old enough to smoke cigarettes.